I've been getting a ton of videos with the song, "My collar's blue, but my neck is red." I'll tell you what, man, it makes me want to get out in the field and start working with pipe. You know what I mean? Something probably in the 8-inch to 9-inch. You get above that, it becomes a little hard to work with. You know what I mean? So probably like 6 to 9 inches. It's optimal for water flow because, I'm talking about plumbing here. I'm talking about like, sewage and stuff. It makes me want to get out there and get my hands on some poop, man. I love that song. I love blue collar work. But then I remember what blue collar work consists of, and, I don't want to do that shit. People who really be out there just playing with poop, playing with hot metal, you know what I mean? All this, like, underwater sea diver, and then you go down there and weld. Thank you for doing that, because, like, I'm not doing that shit. Why do we go underwater to weld? Is it just for oil rigs? Why are we doing that? You know what I mean? It sounds stupid, but anyways, I want to get my hands on some pipe, for real. We're back on Mario Kart. Just for the memories, okay? We're gonna put back on Burger Toad, okay? I know that one guy, he's been commenting, Child of Schlurp, I know he's been commenting a lot, and he wants Burger Toad back if I could find the little dude. Oh, wait, he's in my rear end. Let me take him out real quick. Oh! You know what I mean? That was awesome, dude. I just took him out. Okay, where is he? Oh, God, he can stand? And since this is a Mario Kart World Politics video, I have to talk about the Middle Eastern chuds, the ones in the Middle East bombing kids. I hope they quit doing that. I don't really have any updates on them, but, they should probably quit bombing kids. Young Thug's new song is great. Have we heard it? That's amazing. That's a masterpiece right there. In his probation, he has a bunch of clauses, right? And he can't talk about violent shit, but he can just say the hard R over and over again. Dude, that's a probation violation if I've ever seen one. Also, part of his probation, he has to do free concerts or something. So the other day, he performed at the courthouse. Isn't that, like, just a bad look? To have a rapper that is a literal... he's a gang leader, okay? He's, like, the boss of a gang. Have him at a courthouse performing a song. I mean, I guess it's kind of like, oh, look at our little pet. You know what I mean? We got this, this head honcho. He's now doing little tricks for us or whatever. That's really what it looks like, I guess. But, like, I don't know, bro. Anyways, Young Thug, please don't come, slide on me in a Kia or whatever and, chop my head off or whatever. I don't mean it, bro. Okay, I love Young Thug's music, and I love that new Young Thug song. That is revolutionary stuff, man. Apparently, in Portland, Oregon... or the Pacific Northwest, but we're just going to say Portland, Oregon, because I don't like Portland. Never been there. I don't know. Maybe I love Portland. I'm going to let the media pick for me, okay? And the right-wing media has made Portland out to be hell, and I'm going to accept that because I love getting my news from Fox News. I love hearing about gay salamanders or whatever they're talking about all the time. We're just going to say Portland, but this is the whole Pacific Northwest. There is now elephant tranquilizer hitting the streets. First off, how are we getting a hold of this? Okay, it must be really cheap or something. Dude, China's got to be shipping out this horse trank. No, this ain't even horse trank. Yeah, I mean, we thought horse tranquilizer was bad. Now we got shit that's putting down elephants. How are we getting our hands on this? But to be honest with you, I'm not even mad, bro. Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep that up in the Pacific Northwest, if Seattle and Portland and all those disgusting places can naturally depopulate themselves, that's kind of better for society, bro. For the people of Portland and Seattle or whatever, all these stupid ass liberal cities, they they probably want a military presence there. They probably want someone to restore order. But there's a bunch of lawmaker, important people that live in mansions and have never actually seen real life. They're saying, hey, this is a breach of freedom or whatever. You cannot send your troops here. Have you seen the reports? Have you seen the nasty homeless encampments? Have you seen this? They need it, bruh. They really need somebody there. They don't need more money going to these homeless people. You know what I mean? They're just going to go buy more tents. You're really just fueling their tent. It's like they're tent addicts. They're addicted to sleeping in tents and pooping in the road. To me, that sounds like fucking horses. That's a horse. I just described a horse. These aren't humans. These are fake people. You go and you watch actual interviews with homeless people, okay? And I've said this before. Being poor and being a loser in society is a mindset thing, okay? Sometimes they don't choose to be homeless, but a lot of the times they want to be homeless so they can continue to just do drugs all day. And this is not unfounded. You can watch a lot of interviews. They want to sit out there and do heroin and do whatever. You know what I mean? Because they like that lifestyle. They like being free. And I can see why they like it. You know what I mean? I want nice things, but I feel like if you get old enough to a certain point, man, homeless got to be awesome, bruh. No bills, no nothing. They need some sort of presence there. Okay, even though I have no idea what's going on. I'm speaking on my ass. I could be lying about half this. The city of Los Angeles has yet to name D4VD, David, as a suspect in the case of the 15-year-old that he was having a relationship with that was found chopped up in his Tesla outside of his rented property. They have yet to name him a suspect in the case. Let's hope and pray, that this is some sort of diversion. Police departments do stuff like this. Hopefully they're trying to trick David into being confident and arrogant about the fact that, he's not been named a suspect, and hopefully makes some sort of stupid decision. Hopefully that's what this is. But if not, if they're just deciding that he's not a suspect, there's going to be a great injustice done. This is an O.J. Simpson type of case. Okay, obviously he's not as popular as O.J. Simpson because O.J. Simpson was the juice, baby. And hey, he's an innocent man. We can't even sit here and talk about it like it's some sort of crazy case because he's an innocent man. They determine him to be an innocent man. Who else are we gonna blame, bro? Who is the other suspect? How did she end up in his car? I think we're forgetting that. I could see it being a coincidence. It was a runaway teenager. It was in L.A. There's a lot of people dismembering people in L.A. Because they don't need help. They're doing just fine over there. You got a governor who does nothing about the homeless problem. But then our literal enemy, one of the most evil people on the planet, the leader of China, comes and he cleans them homeless people right up. He wants to make a good show for daddy, communist leader. I could understand them thinking, it's just got to be some, one of the other people that are chopping off heads in LA because there's a lot of people doing it. There's too much tying them to it. Once again, I hope it's some sort of diversion and they're trying to trick him into being confident. But if he doesn't make a move that makes him look, super guilty, he might get away with it because they're losing time. Right now, you want to bring him in as soon as possible because he could have a lawyer talking to him right now. Oh my God, is this first? That's a win, baby. Oh my God, disregard the whole David thing. We just won with Burger Toad, baby. Maybe that's a sign. First game back on, I'm winning with Burger Toad. Also, look at this. I'm playing against only Asians. I've been talking about this. I'm in skill-based matchmaking, dude. Why am I only playing against Asian people? They are so much better. Look how many Asian, people are in here, man. It's Winnie the Pooh, man. He's mad that I'm, talking about him right now. The more time he's out free without being, questioned and whatever, the less likelihood he's going to be brought to justice. I guess at this point, I can't sit here and say he did it. That's slander or whatever. So allegedly he chopped up this 13-year-old girl that he's been involved with since she was 11 and was found in his Tesla outside of his house. She has the same tattoo as him. Anyways, we're far enough into the video now. We can start talking about the real topics. And I think railing dudes from an efficiency point of view, okay, and this is a bit of a callback, but this is a bit of an evolution to the original video, okay? If you're an analytical, smart guy, okay, and you like efficiency, you're an efficient guy, being with dudes is just more efficient, okay? And you can't really make a case for it not being more efficient, right? Getting in a guy's pants is just a lot easier. And like I said back in the day, a Mountain Dew is the key to a man's heart. Give him a Mountain Dew, give him a pat on the back, and tell him his dad was wrong and he's not a failure. That's all dudes want, bro. They just want another man to tell them they're doing a good job. A woman, you gotta do the whole theater performance, man. You gotta pretend like you care. We all do. We don't care what they're saying. Man, you don't even gotta do that. Instead of having to lie for 4 dates, spend $300 on her, hand a dude a Mountain Dew, ask him if he wants to go on a walk in the woods, and tell him that his dad was wrong and he's a great guy. That's all you gotta do, bro. Especially if you get them right after a breakup or some sort of trauma in their life, bro. All you gotta tell them is that they're enough. That's all a dude wants. Maybe that's all I want. Maybe I want some big buff man to hold me in his arms and tell me I'm enough. Maybe that's all I want. And I think these videos, the one thing that it's done, it's enabled me to accept the truth. Okay, I want a big buff man to come hold me in his arms and tell me I'm enough. Okay, and I'm taking submissions for that right now. Go ahead and email Crunchyroll support and tell them how much you want to hold them in your arms and tell them that they're enough. Now they got your attention. I hope somebody was like doing something important and this was just in the background that scares the shit out of them. But can you guys please like the video? Great way to help support the channel. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and consider becoming a member. No pressure though. Because I'll tell you what, Crunchyroll support is not enough. The other day, I was on I was just watching Naruto late at night, 1 in the morning. I wanted to keep watching till like 2 in the morning, bro. It was really good. Okay, and I get to an episode, and I wasn't really paying attention because Kibo was at the beginning of the episode, and I don't really care about the dog boy, right? He's just kind of annoying. He's like Naruto without the 9 tails, right? That's what Naruto would be if Naruto wasn't epic. So I wasn't paying attention, so about 1.5 minutes passed, and I'm kind of just on my phone waiting for, real characters to show up. Then I noticed, I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? The subtitles ain't right. It's in German, okay? That's not a big problem. I'm like, oh, it must have glitched. Even though Crunchyroll up to this point has already been terrible. If you try to watch Crunchyroll on the TV, like on a TV, I have a Samsung TV, and sometimes it just won't load episodes, and I have to reset the whole TV. I have to do a hard reset. I have to go unplug the TV for Crunchyroll to begin working again. Whatever, that was okay because at least I was watching Naruto. I go into the settings and I try to change it to English subtitles. Doesn't work. I look up subtitles switching to German and not letting you switch it back to English, Reddit. Nobody's ever had this problem before. This is a me-specific problem. How? You know what I mean? Crunchyroll, how? How am I having a specific problem? Is every single person having a different blight? Like, what is going on, bruh? Every single person who uses Crunchyroll probably has a different individual problem. How is that even possible? How are you the top anime people in the world? You're owned by Sony now. How am I having problems? So at this point, I decide, all right, Crunchyroll, I've had enough. So I've made the decision now. I'm switching to Hulu to watch Naruto. And plus, they're going to have better shows in general. Even though, to be honest with you, there's a lot of shit I want to watch on Crunchyroll. But whatever. I go to cancel the subscription. It is the most complicated process I've ever done. I don't even know if it's changed yet. I don't even know if it's going to cancel. I'm just going to charge back because I have zero respect for Crunchyroll. I email support after trying to cancel it through, the actual thing. And I'm doing it correctly. And it just isn't, confirming that it's canceled. So I email support, and I'm like, hey, I don't want no bullshit. I just want you to cancel the subscription. Okay, that's all I want. I don't want to be walked through how to do it. I want you to do it. And then they tell me, oh, we can't do it. So I say to this stupid, an Indian bot, I say, you're fucking useless, goodbye. Why can the support not support me? What is the point of that? There's no email. It is impossible to get a hold of these Crunchyroll fuckers. Damn, they hold a monopoly on the anime, too. The anti-ice gunman that I was talking about the other day, the guy who just shot at a, stationary building, he didn't, he didn't do anything. He just shot at a building. They somehow obtained his Steam records. The headline is, Anti-Ice Gunman has played 17,000 hours of violent video games. And at first you read that and you go, you know what I mean? What are these chuds talking about? They don't know shit. It doesn't matter if they play a bit of games. Back in the day, they were publicly executing people, and that was TV for the day. So I don't think they got a lot of room to talk. They were doing way worse back then. Bullying used to be a real problem. Obviously, it's still a problem, but bullying used to be fun. What's worse? Okay, a kid playing GTA or a kid getting a wedgie. Wedgies don't happen anymore. Swirlies aren't happening. So what's worse? You hear that and you think, oh, these chuds are talking out their ass. They don't really know what they're talking about. But then I looked at his actual playlist. They had a screenshot of his playlist. And he had about, I think, 7,000 hours on Rust. Now it makes sense, bruh. I'd want to kill too. Playing Rust for that damn long. Oh my God. You got people waking up at 3 in the fucking morning, in the middle of their deep slumber, in the middle of their much needed rest from their Dollar General job or whatever, because people who work at Rust, they don't have much going on in their life. They wake up and they check out their base being raided. Jesus Christ, bro. Who has mandated that you need to wake up at 3 in the morning to check out your Rust base? You're the only person that thinks that this needs to happen. These people are not human. Rust players are fucking stupid. Playing Rust for 7,000 hours, I'd want to kill too. For real. That might be the only time ever that statement that video games makes you want to kill, that's the only time it's ever been true. Rust or Siege. I guarantee they dig into his playlist a little more because I only saw 3 games. Siege has got to be on there, and he's probably played Siege at least 2,000 hours. 1,000 hours of Siege, I'm probably gonna massacre a small city. I'm probably gonna kill thousands of people. I see why he wanted to kill. I wouldn't want to play Rust that long either. You know what I mean? He just wanted the suffering to end. He just wanted somebody to feel his pain, bro. Okay, and he thought that was the best way. I would probably rather have my first daughter. First off, I wouldn't even want her to begin with. But anyways, I would rather have my first daughter be killed directly in front of me. Heart ripped out and ate. Cooked and ate. I have to sit there for 2 hours and watch the heart be cooked. Min just tearing apart her heart and eating it. I would rather watch that happen than play 30 minutes of Rust. It's a full-time job. And for what, bro? You ain't getting paid to do it. Nobody's paying you to play Rust. It's modern-day slavery. It's self-induced torture. It's got to be like a humiliation kink or something, bro. It's not real. You can't play games like that and genuinely have fun. It's self-induced waterboarding. The Chinese government probably makes people play Rust whenever, you know, they're about to genocide their whole family or whatever. Because that's what they do. They're doing a genocide. I keep talking about it, but that's really what China's doing. And our lovely California governor, who's most likely going to be president next, let's hope not, you know. This is going to be one hell of a presidential vote. Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance. Fuck, man. If the Middle Eastern chuds don't rig the vote, it's definitely going to be Gavin Newsom. You know, he rolled out the red carpet for a guy who's committing a genocide. That's who we're going to have as president. A guy who's rolling out the red carpet for a terrorist, essentially. I mean, like, they've always tried to interfere with stuff already. They try to interfere with elections and shit. They're quite literally terrorists. And he's pretty much rolling out the red carpet for Saddam Hussein. And you could argue Saddam Hussein or Bin Laden, all these people may have been better than the Chinese, you know, the current Chinese prime minister, or whatever he is, the Chinese dictators, really should be his title. Some of us aspire to be presidents. Some of us aspire to be CEOs. We aspire to be great people. I just want to be the middle-aged, creepy retail manager. What do you got left to lose? Your life already blows, okay? You're barely making above minimum wage. You're having to deal with these loud customers, these loud employees. You know, why not shoot a text to the 16-year-old and see what they're doing at 3 a.m.? I respect the boldness. They are people who have accepted their fate, and now they're just living with it. Because we need a retail managers. We really do. If not, Walmart, you know, wouldn't have all that shit for us to steal. Or whatever we do at Walmart. I don't know. Typically, I try to meet up with I don't do that at Walmart. So, like, they are people that are needed in society, but they're underappreciated. So you look at someone like teachers, right? We need teachers. But they're underappreciated, they're underpaid, all this. And they just continue to do it because they love it. And they know that it's a needed thing, and they're willing to sacrifice their own financial future just to teach our kids, and that's great. Retail managers are in the same boat. We need them. We really do need them, and they've accepted their fate, and now they're just living with it. So why not text that 16-year-old and see what they're doing at 3 a.m.? Why not text that 16-year-old and ask them why the they were talking to their 17-year-old coworker? You know what I mean? I own you, bitch. Why are you talking to him? Why aren't you talking to me? Look at all this. Look at this. This 2-bedroom house I have. 25 more years, I'm gonna own this house. Disregard the fact that I'm 25 years older than you. But what you doing at 3 a.m.? You better not be talking to that, you know, that high schooler. You better not be going to homecoming with that dude in your grade. You know what I mean? You better be talking to me. I'm 40 and I own a house and I got a Mustang, bro. Seriously, I'm cool as shit. No way you should be talking to the dude that you should actually be talking to. You should be talking to me. But yeah, I really aspire to be the 40-year-old weird manager, and I really want to text 14-year-olds and ask them what they're doing at 4 a.m. Like Boss Man D-Lo once said, he said something along the lines of, why you f***ing with a loser? You should be f***ing with a boss. Man, I love Boss Man D-Lo. Any music he puts out is great. What's going on at these NBA YoungBoy concerts, bro? Are they accepting EBT as payment? What is going on, bro? NBA YoungBoy could really start probably the biggest militia in the United States, and he could just conquer. NBA YoungBoy would be one hell of a general. NBA YoungBoy is like the Napoleon of our time. You may be asking, what is the basis of this statement? He gets people together, he gets them all in one room, and he gets them, you know, going with one message. You know, whether or not that's about killing Lil Durk or whatever, I don't care. NBA YoungBoy is really like the Napoleon of our time. Please clip that and spread that, because I'm being serious. Okay, NBA YoungBoy's great, but yeah, did they start accepting EBT? Like, how are so many people there? How are we affording these tickets? Thugging and trapping only works for like the top 10% of thuggers and trappers. You know what I mean? The low people that are thugging and trapping, it's like a pyramid scheme, right? Only the top, you know, head honcho is really the one making money. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be terrified of an NBA YoungBoy-led army. Because he's already got battle chants or whatever, like battle music. Dude, imagine him on a white stallion horse. Him alone. Because he would lead his army. He would be a damn good general. He would lead his army. Okay, he would lead them straight into battle like George Washington. He's like the George Washington of our time. NBA YoungBoy is probably the most influential person on this earth right now. And Sexy Red, too. Sexy Red will be like, who's a famous woman figure? I can't even come up with one. I don't think there's ever been an important woman in history. I don't know. I could be wrong, but like, who is an important woman in history? I legitimately cannot think of one. Yeah, anyway, she's like the first ever important woman. Dude, Sexy Red is an inspiration to all humans. I love Sexy Red. I love that. She spreads a great message. You know what I mean? Shake your ass and be a whore. I'm into that, bro. I'm into that. I'm rocking with that. Yeah, NBA YoungBoy and Sexy Red need to join forces and, start selling Cheetos on the corner of the block or whatever. I don't know what they do, but NBA YoungBoy led army would be the most feared thing ever. It would be like a Spartan army, essentially. They would do whatever for NBA YoungBoy. It's great. NBA YoungBoy is a visionary. He sees shit that we don't see. God, I love NBA YoungBoy. I want to show you guys this picture. Look at that thing. I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys defense could stop that, though. I'm telling you right now, I don't think they could stop a blind deaf kid that's like 2 years old. I just don't think they could do it, bro. You know what I mean? They got stomped by the Bears, and then they couldn't stop the Packers for nothing. Like, really couldn't. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott maybe played one of the best games I've ever seen. He still couldn't win because his defense was just letting Jordan Love do whatever. Terrible, terrible performance by them. I don't think they could stop a disabled kid, bro. They definitely ain't stopping this dude. This dude got legs on him. Okay, now that we're at the end of the video, I'm going to give a brief talk about this because, I kind of enjoyed talking about it last time. Football. I just talked about it a little bit. But, dude, the Bears, they've completely flipped the script. Obviously, last game, the first half looked like, I don't know, it was like a comedy match. It was less of a football match. It was more like comedy. But anyways, I mean, we pulled out the win, for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but, for the first time this season, Caleb Williams looked great in the fourth quarter, or at least, he led a game-winning drive, thank God. Maybe Ben Johnson can keep his job. Maybe I was overreacting. They still need to cut DeAndre Swift. It ain't working. We need to trade for a real running back. I mean, Jesus. Every time they handed the ball to DeAndre Swift, nothing happened. Quite frankly, nothing happened. DeAndre Swift might be the worst Bears running back I've ever seen, man. Yeah, I guess that's the end. Thank you guys for watching.